improve self-confidence, advance their public speaking, in addition to becoming involved in their local community. Because of these opportunities, many of our ambassadors have gone on to become leaders, entrepreneurs, and people of influence wherever they go in their lives. This year's program contains a junior and a senior competition where the competitors are expected to deliver a speech, attend a formal interview with judges, and answer an impromptu question. So without further ado, I'll ask our first junior competitor to come up, Michael Wall.
Hello everyone, my name is the mic on? Yeah. Hello everyone, my name is Michael Wall and I'm running for the Junior Fall Fair Ambassador for Shelburne. Before I start, I'd like to welcome you all to the Fall Fair and thank you for coming to opening night. The theme this year is Country Pumpkin. And as cute as I think it is, I don't know anyone else who loves it even more than my mom and my sister. Since I decided to run, they've been calling me the future Pumpkin King. While King may not be the title, my sister does want to see me in a tiara. Well, I would be honored to be the Junior Fall Fair Ambassador. I've been coming to fair my entire life, and it's always one of the highlights of my year. There are so many fun things to do at the Fall Fair, like the bouncy castle, the games, and the inflatables. There are sumo suits and a 15-foot slide, and even a gladiator battle. Sounds cool. I worked at the inflatables last year, and let me tell you, they're both the coolest and the hottest thing here at the fair. All time, my favorite event at the fair, year after year, is the demolition derby. Driving cars with the goal of as much chaos as possible, awesome. Last year my sister got to count laps and I remember her face when she thought she was going to be hit with mud. Don't worry Larry, I'm not scared of horses either. I just wanted to end my speech by thanking the Fair Board, the Agricultural Society, and all of the volunteers. I have volunteered the last 2 years and I cannot honestly believe the amount of work that goes into this. And I would be honored to, and thank you all for listening, and I wish you a fun and safe weekend at the 2018 Shelburne Fall Fair.
Thank you, Katie. And our last junior contestant we'd like to invite up is Sarah Bannon.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 151st Shelburne Fall Fair. My name is Sarah Bannon, and I am so pleased to be competing in the 2018 Junior Fair Ambassador Competition. We here in Shelburne are so lucky to live in a small community where we all get the chance to come out to the Fall Fair every year and compete or just enjoy the events that the Fall Fair has to offer. The Fall Fair truly has something for everyone in our community. There are a variety of livestock competitions, a demolition derby, lawn tractor races, a tractor pull, bike races, a dog show, a baby show, a variety of homecraft division classes, and so much more. One of the main objectives of the Shelburne Fall Fair is to bring the community together and to promote agriculture. When I was in grade 3, I remember visiting the Fall Fair as part of the Agricultural Awareness Day program with my class from school. Rotating through various stations, we saw and learned about beef and dairy cows, sheep, and miniature and heavy horses. This program continues to this day, and students who participate in this program are perhaps motivated to return to the Fall Fair later that weekend with their families. Recently, the Fair Committee has been working hard to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to visit the Fall Fair if they so choose. The purchase and use of accessibility mats is one way to ensure that seniors, young families with strollers, and those with mobility issues have an easier time getting around the fair. The Fall Fair is also a great opportunity for newcomers to get to know more about Shelburne and how agriculture is an important part of Shelburne's culture. Interestingly, people who visit the Fall Fair may come out specifically to see one main event, but then being here makes them want to see more and do more things at the fair. For example, looking at the baby animals in the Little Red Barn might make you want to check out a real sheep competition. As you walk across the fairgrounds to the pole barn, you may see some of the tractors on display, which might make you want to compete in the mini tractor pull. After your big pull, you might take your winnings and go buy a yummy treat from the Shelburne figure skating booth. Before you know it, you spend your whole day enjoying the Shelburne Fall Fair. I myself have attended the Shelburne Fall Fair each year since I was born, and I have been entering articles in the Junior Homecraft Division since I was 3 years old. I would spend my summers busily making articles and taking photos that I could enter in the fair. When September would finally come around, I would be so excited to see my exhibits at the fair. I would also look forward to the bicycle races and the best decorated bike competition. My brother and I always got to compete against our friends and neighbors. At the end of the kids' races, we would beg our dad to race the other parents. Watching these fully grown adults ride bicycles and wear helmets that are way too small for them is definitely a sight to see and a fond memory for me. The Fall Fair allows the community to come together, learn more about agriculture, and create lasting memories with friends and families. If I was the 2018 Shelburne Junior Fair Ambassador, I would look forward to encouraging other people to attend next year's Fall Fair. For now, I hope you enjoyed the rest of your time at this year's Fall Fair. Who knows, maybe I'll see you tomorrow morning at the bike races. Thank you.
And thank you to Sarah, and that concludes our 3 junior speeches. So we have 2 competitors for Senior Ambassador tonight. I'll invite the first one up to speak, Megan Timmons.
Good evening, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to start out by thanking everyone for coming. The fair wouldn't be a success if no one showed up, as well as the judges and the amazing volunteers for coming and helping. So, my name is Megan Timmons. I'm 21 years old and I grew up in the wonderful township of Melanchthon. Sorry, these decorations are messing up my cue cards. So now I'm in Guelph studying landscape architecture under the School of Environmental and Rural Design and doing international development as well. I also love traveling, public speaking, learning, and anything that involves creativity. I also enjoy long walks on the beach and blah, 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 that's enough about me. The thing that I want to talk about today are 2 different topics: farmland preservation and community development. The one issue that talks a lot about these 2 topics is the 2011 Melanchthon Megaquarry proposal. The Melanchthon Megaquarry had been an ongoing fight in this community. In 2006, a group called the Highland Companies came into the area and started buying up farmlands, acres and acres of farmland. In 2011, they had officially submitted a proposal for the Melanchthon Megaquarry. This is a problem because farmland is faced with multiple difficulties. It's forced to compete with industrial development. Quarries are extracting limestone, which is a sedimental rock, and use it to make aggregate. So this is for different building materials such as roads and other construction. This quarry would be the largest in Canada, largest in Canadian history, pardon me. In order to extract the amount of limestone required, the quarry would have to be larger than Niagara Falls, which is pretty hard to think in small Dufferin County. This would mean drastically altering the landscape. Langton and surrounding is also home to very rich soils. In particular, it's a silt loam soil as well as Class 1 ag soil, which is one of the most valuable and very rare in the country. Having a quarry would mean highly affecting these soils in many negative ways. This also includes issues with the water table and other issues environmentally, economically, and socially. Thankfully, in November 2012, the Highland companies withdrew from their application. And I remember this day like it was yesterday. I was sitting in my grade 10 English class, and I got a message from my mom telling me the news. And I just felt happiness, but also this victory inside of me, knowing that I helped out with this. And this is where I want to talk about my idea of community development. The quarry fight clearly showed how this community can work together. Over the course of this fight, we supported each other very much. Hardworking and dedication was very phenomenal. Also with the creation of NADACT, North Dufferin Agricultural and Community Task Force, we were able to host multiple events raising money and raising awareness within the community. Because we are such a small town, this is why I'm very proud to be a small town Shelburnian. And I'm very proud of being in a small town because everyone knows each other, everyone gets along, just like the Dean Brody song. People know you by your first name, what kind of truck you drive, how your team did back in high school, so you can't lie. Not a very good singer, so I'm gonna stop there, but you know what I mean. Living in a small town has taught me a lot of different values, such as community development, getting along with your community, having very close ties with your community, as well as farmland preservation through NADACT and the different quarry events. This is also why I love the fair, because it showcases these two topics perfectly. It's a community coming together to celebrate our love for farming and the farming history and heritage of Shelburne, and of course, the love for all things country. Thank you.
And thank you, Megan. Couldn't remember your name there for a second, Megan. And we're going to call up Madison, our final senior contestant, to say her speech. Come on up.
Hello everyone, my name is Madison, I'm 17 and I would like to welcome you all to the 2018 Shelburne Fall Fair. I hope everyone had a good summer, I know I certainly did. This year's Fall Fair theme is Country Pumpkin, and I honestly can't think of a better or more adorable theme to follow last year's, which was Pioneer Days to Modern Ways. Agriculture has always been the heart and soul of our community, and year after year the Fall Fair gives us a fun and unique way to celebrate that. Before I really get into my speech, I would like to take a moment to thank the Fair Board for putting this together every time. I would also like to thank all of the volunteers for the countless hours and immense effort that they put in to making this fair a success every year. While working with the Fair Board this past year, I've seen firsthand how much effort the volunteers and Fair Board put into this, while also still being kind enough to tell us good job, answer questions, and in some cases, slip us pie. None of us would be here tonight without them, so thank you. Fairs like this one are important to all towns, but especially towns like ours. According to the 2016 census, Shelburne is actually the fastest growing small town in Ontario, and with the population expanding as rapidly as ours, it's important for us to cultivate a genuine sense of community and also show those joining our towns a sense of security and unity. Events and festivals like this fair, the Heritage Music Festival, our annual street fair, and our weekly marketplace are key to bringing our town together. But the Fall Fair gives people more than just a chance to come together. It gives them a chance to play together and have fun, not just as neighbors, but as family and friends. I myself have been coming to the fair for years, and I've spent the last year as the Junior Fair Ambassador. Growing up, I always looked forward to the fair. Playing games with my family, going out with my friends, and cheering on the demolition derby. Though, I gotta say, when you're up close and counting laps, it's a lot more clapping than cheering lest one of us take a mud ball to the mouth.
The fair gives people a chance to come together in ways they simply can't during the rest of the year and instills a sense of community and togetherness that makes them look forward to the next fair. With other fun activities such as the car show, horse and sheep shows, lawn tractor races, auctions, an art display, and various calling contests, which between you and me, I'm pretty sure my grandma's a shoo-in for the husband calling one, and so much more, there's something to do or watch for everyone, no matter where your interests lie. I encourage you all to find an activity to take part in this weekend, and I especially encourage you all to take part in the hay bale races, because let me tell you, there is nothing better than watching an entire family chase a ginormous bale of hay. Additionally, the Shelburne Fair is also good for our economy. From local vendors to promotions for local businesses to encouraging people to buy local, the fair brings some money into the town and generates a stronger economy. This is both important and necessary for the community growing bigger and stronger year after year. Arguably the most important aspect of the Shelburne Fair, though, is its significant contribution to our town's awareness and education. Children come to the fair to learn about animals and agriculture in a fun, hands-on way, using things like the cattle displays, the petting zoo, and so much more. This is a chance that they don't get via traditional education throughout the rest of the year. The fair also provides an opportunity to address issues such as pollution, the hazards of pesticides, and the challenges of working a family on farm. The fall fair is the perfect opportunity for members of our community to learn no matter where your age or interest lies. In conclusion, from fun and games to community involvement and all the way to awareness and education, the Shelburne Fall Fair is a wonderful and critical event in our town every year, and we should all be proud to be involved. I would also like to once again thank you all for coming out, and I wish you all a fun and safe fair weekend here at the 2018 Shelburne Fall Fair. Thank you.
And thank you, Madison. That concludes our senior speeches, but we're going to do the impromptu section now. So I would like to invite a visiting guest up on stage right now. As I had mentioned before, many of our past ambassadors learn how to network, advance their public speaking ability, and very much become involved in their communities. Although this young man is not a former ambassador of ours, he is last year's Dundalk Junior Ambassador, and he has thrown himself into any community event he can be a part of. So we'll invite him up on stage tonight to conduct our impromptu questions. I'll help you welcome me, Clark Atchison, to the stage.
If you could take one photo to best describe our fair, what would you take a photo of?
If I was to take one picture at the fall fair, it would be of, say, a grandparent and a child getting along and having fun at the fair, maybe doing like the tractor pull or say potato sack races to show the difference. You know, seniors can be at the fair and as well as children, and the fact that it's for all the community, all ages, and everybody.
If you could change anything at the fair, what would you change?
If I could change anything at the fair, I would probably change how many games we have, just so we can bring in more people aged 12 to 16, get more people involved. Thank you.
And that concludes our senior competition. We're going to take a 10-minute intermission and we'll come back and crown our new 2018 Junior and Senior Ambassador winners. And Alex Heck. Our ambassadors would like to present you with a couple gifts there if you just want to stand up and the crowd can see who's are. Wade Mills is a former ambassador of this fair, a lawyer in town, and the new mayor. Jennifer Cruson sits on the foundation board for Headwaters and is also the market manager of the Farmers Market in Shelburne. Alex Heck is a Ryerson University graduate and currently is a journalist for the Georgetown Independent paper. We'd like to thank you for judging our competition tonight, and we hope you like those gifts as an expression of our gratitude. So thank you. And at this time, we'd like to invite our current junior ambassador up, Madison Wall, to deliver her going away speech before we crown the new junior ambassador.
Hi, so I know you guys just heard me speak, so I'll try and keep this one brief. So last year, I was helping paint the wee barn, and by extension covering myself and my friend in more paint than the wee barn, when a family friend of ours, Kathy, told me how much fun it would be if I ran for junior ambassador. Her response was something to the tune of, "Oh, yeah, I'll think about it." And before I had a chance to, think about it, my mother called me. She had already invited 17 people to come watch me give my speech. So, the thinking was over. Though my choice had arguably been made for me, it's a choice I'll never regret. Working with the Fair Board and the Agriculture Society, and also with my community for the past year has been one of the most fun and rewarding experiences of my life. From volunteering all around town to working with people in my community and to finally conquering my fear of horses, this year has been one I'll never forget. My senior ambassador, Emma, has also made this year great. She's always been helpful, supportive, and patient enough to take my picture, even after I took a million years trying to get into a potato sack while also in a dress. So I just wanted to end my speech by thanking the Fair Board, the Shelburne Agriculture Society, volunteers, and also every little kid who called me Princess for making this such a phenomenal year. So thank you.
Or come stand beside her saying speech to you.
Madison, when we first met you in the barn last year, we couldn't believe you were a contestant because you were actually working. But after watching you over the last year, we have realized we have a jack of all trades as an ambassador. Not only are you willing to work and sweep the floor, but you'll put on a dress and represent our Ag Society with pride and enthusiasm.
It has been a pleasure over the course of the last year watching you develop as an ambassador and a young individual. We are proud to have you a part of our fair family, and Madison, the saying around here is once we have you, we don't let you go. So welcome to our family, and here's to hoping we see your face at the fair every year to come. Thank you. So we'd like to invite all of our junior contestants up on stage. I'm sure we all want to know who the winner is. Alrighty, so we have boys and girls this year. So we have our tiara and our cowboy hat set to go. And the winner of the junior, Carly will announce.
The winner of the Shelburne Senior Fair Junior Ambassador is Sarah Bannon.
That's all right. And so ladies and gentlemen, our new 2018 Junior Ambassador is Sarah Bannon. We'll invite her to the mic to say her first ambassador speech.
Thank you all for coming out and supporting the Fall Fair this year. And I would also like to thank all the wonderful volunteers and the Ambassador Committee for making this night possible. It's been a lot of fun tonight, meeting and competing against my fellow competitors, and this is the night that I will remember. Thank you.
And with that, we'll present Madison with her going away flowers. And at that time, we'll call Emma Holmes, our last year's ambassador, to give her going away speech. Here she is, Emma Holmes.
The Shelburne Fair will always hold a special place in my heart. I remember 6 years ago today when I stood on the stage to compete for my first title of Fair Princess. Little did I know back then I'd be standing on that stage twice more to compete for Junior Ambassador and Senior Ambassador, becoming the second person in our society's history to win all 3 titles. It has been the biggest privilege to represent our agricultural society for those 3 years. In those 6 years, I have seen the fair change so much, but one thing that hasn't changed is the family feel of our agricultural society. And once again, I want to thank the Board of Directors for giving me this opportunity, not only 6 years ago today, but continuing to allow me to represent our agricultural society, and helping me and supporting me to become the person I am today. I feel like the Shelburne Fair is a second home for me. I'd like to thank my Junior Ambassador, Madison, for making this year great. You're the best Junior Ambassador a girl could ask for. I hope to see you all out at the fair this weekend, enjoying this beautiful weather. Thank you.
Emma, having known you your whole life, it has been a pleasure to see you grow into such a fine young lady. Gone are the days when you used to push your little brother Sheldon off his bike in the lane, and now you are a second-year student at Lambton College. When you first ran for Fair Princess, you probably had no idea you'd become part of our fair family, and you'd still be here almost 10 years later.
You have been a Fair Princess, a Junior Ambassador, and now our final title, a Senior Ambassador. This makes you a Triple Crown winner by our standards, and you're only the second person to hold that title. That means when we retire, you're next in line to run this ambassador committee. And with that, we'd like to present you with your $1,000 tuition bursary, as well as a gift from the ambassador committee. So thank you for a great year and all the best in your future endeavors. This is a photo of Emma. No one else has seen it at the Royal York when she was at convention. So we're presenting this to you as a gift from us, our ambassador committee. And with that, we'll call our 2 senior contestants, Megan Timmons and Madison Wall. And I should present you with your going away flowers as well. There's our last gift to you. Do you want to crown it?
Alrighty, without further ado, the winner of the 2018-2019 Shelburne Senior Fair Ambassador is Megan Timmons.
And same thing, we'll invite Megan up to say her very first ambassador speech.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm really excited for this opportunity. I hope to see you all this weekend. I'm very excited for this weekend as well as the rest of the year. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight, and with the crowning of our ambassadors, that concludes our opening ceremony.